Where do you go when you want to lose weight and you need some support? I don't know about you, but I don't want to go to some muscly dude or skinny person, even though I should, because they don't understand the the pain we go through. They don't get us. We don't want to go to a fellow fatty because who wants to learn from someone who hasn't figured it out themselves? So where are we stuck? We are stuck with nowhere to turn. I don't know the answer, but we're going to find it together, you and I.
Chasing all day and chasing all night, sweet little baby.
So that's all it takes, hey? I know it's been a few days since we've dropped an episode on you. That's because I wanted to kind of simulate real life, because it has been about 2 weeks since I've recorded one. So here's the tune of events. I had about 6 or 7 episodes on my phone, and bugger me, when I was in America for the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing, I lost my phone. So all of those episodes, those daily episodes, gone. I think all my, all the lead up to the Arnold event, all the frustrations, all the wins, everything gone. I was recording in the plane, much I'm sure to the annoyance of the passengers around me, and talking about the problems I suppose associated with travel and not being at your home base, having to carry around your food, your supplements, whatever your plan is that you're doing, whether you're doing meal replacement shakes or whatever it is that you're doing, and the discipline involved in actually being out and about and saying no to whatever it is that they're shoving down your gob on the plane, or getting at the airport and disciplining yourself to have a shake instead of going to somewhere to eat, a restaurant, whatever. So all of those challenges certainly I experienced, and all right, so let's get the update done. Let's get through the pain. You're my accountability buddy. It's been a few days, so first off, I need to apologize that I let stuff get in the way. Now, I only left it a few days here on the podcast because I didn't want to leave you hanging. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I left a couple of weeks on the table, and during those couple of weeks, my goodness, well, here's the bad news. When I got home and got back on the scales, admittedly, I got back on the scales at the end of the day. I'd eaten, it was the wrong time to weigh myself if my head was anything to go by. You ready for the bombshell? 120.8, right? 120.8. I started this journey at 119 when I started recording, day one, it's crazy. So we've done Arnold, we've done all that, and I get home and it's 120.8. Now, that's the bad news. Good news, you're probably thinking, Jesus Christ, maybe this podcast shouldn't be called Fat to Phenom, it should be called Fat to Fatter. Now, it wasn't that bad. That was a case of, weighing at the wrong time, and all of that. So as of today, which is a couple of days after that, we are at 118.6. So it's still horrible, right? But it's not as bad as, man, I tell you wouldn't believe how bad the head was when I got to 120. The way I justify this is that when we are there, be it a year from now, be it whatever. Because that's the thing, when I was away, I went to Gold's Gym, I did everything right, supposedly. Get home 120.8, 118.6, so I'm back to where we started. But I look at that as, when all this is done, we're going to look back on these challenges as part of the journey, part of the story. So I guess I got to find something to hang my hat on, otherwise I'll be extraordinarily upset with myself, given, like we've mentioned before, how disciplined I can be when it comes to business and how, let's say, lack of discipline I am when it comes to this. So we're back on the wagon. Today was the first day kind of back full time. Calvin's here. I've eaten right. I've meal replacement shake, done the right thing. So by tomorrow, I'm sure I'll be 117.9 or something. That would be my guess. That's my goal for the morning. Eat right, meal replacement, do all the right things. I'm going to do a 30-day. We're going to look back on episode 14. We're going to look back on this as the start of the streak. One of the things we did while we were in LA is we did an event, after Arnold. I'll give you the update on Arnold and all of that stuff in a minute, which was great fun, of course. But yeah, we did an event, and one of the guys there was talking about business, and he said, instead of saying, he was talking about cold calls, actually, prospecting in business. And he said, instead of saying you make calls every day and you talk to 20 people a day, he said to word it to yourself that you're on a streak. I thought about that. I liked the emotional connotations about a streak, how you don't want to break a streak, how you're on a streak. And you know what I akined it to? It's weird. The Undertaker a wrestler. Now, some of you guys may or may not know that, but there's a wrestler who's been wrestling for a long time called The Undertaker. And every year at WWF's flagship event, it's called WrestleMania, ever since The Undertaker started in the mid-80s, late 80s, he won the first year, he won the second year, and he won his match at WrestleMania every year for like 30 years. And they called it famously the streak. It was really interesting that they called it the streak, and he was 30-0 or something. And the emotional and the drama and all of that wrapped up in the streak. And when eventually Brock Lesnar broke the streak, it was like, just unbelievable. It was a 30-year legacy of The Undertaker that when Brock, it was dramatic. Now, as I know, we know that wrestling's fake, but that's the business they're in. They're in the business of dramatizing something, that they do. So really interesting to change the wording of what we do is, I eat right every day, to I'm on a streak. I'm on a streak of recording this accountability program for you. I'm on a streak of eating right. I'm on a streak of no beef, chicken or pork, which, by the way, I haven't broken that streak. Talk to you a little bit about some of those things in a minute. So there's a certain streak that I'm still on, but this is day one of the streak. And I like it. It's going to be like an AA meeting. Every time we get on, this is day one of the streak, day one of the streak. It may be episode 14, but this is day one of the streak. This is like the reboot episode. I might even call it that, the reboot. And if someone wants to join this podcast, maybe they don't have to go back to episode 1. Maybe they can just go back to episode 14, where we reboot, where we reset the continuity for those comic book fans out there. Yeah, so this is our reboot episode. As of the last 7 or 8 hours, we've been behaved, meal replacement shake, eating right, gone for a walk. It's all good. So I've no doubt that tomorrow, given that there's been a quick bit of weight gain, I suppose, that it will all come off and get me back down to 115, and then south of 115 within really the next few days will be the plan. So this is the start of the streak, day one of the streak. It's good. Keep talking myself into it. We're in day one of the streak. The streak starts now. What else? All right, so you know what? Let's talk social for a little bit. How did Arnold go? It was great. It was a dream come true once again. So we get there and I'm going to do a full detailed account of that tomorrow. But for now, I'll just say it went well. It was really, really good. Let me talk about America for a moment. There's a place over there, and this is probably where I fell off the wagon. Let's talk about what I didn't do well. There's a place in the States called Veggie Grill. And essentially, it lets you have fast food hamburgers, fast food fries, fast food everything. So, Veggie Grill. So you can have fast food, right? It's got sweet potato fries, normal fries, of course, burgers, chicken burgers. It's got everything. And it is vegan, right? And the meat tastes like meat. The chicken tastes like chicken. The mashed potato and gravy tastes like mashed potato and gravy. Now, I know potato's not meat, but, the gravy tastes like, meaty gravy. It's quite an unbelievable establishment. When we were in Vegas, we went to a place with, I think his name's Chef Kenny, and it was vegetables, right? And I promise you, there were prawns in there made out of something. I think they said cornstarch that looked like prawns, tasted like prawns, texture like prawns. If you hadn't told, if it hadn't had Veggie Grill out the front or whatever it was called, it wasn't called Veggie Grill, the restaurant, the Chinese restaurant. If you hadn't told me, and it seems they have people come in without telling them that it's all veggies and they can't tell. The beef was exactly like Chinese food beef. It's almost like I really suspected that they had actual meat in there and, they're just saying it's veggies when it's not. But turns out it is. There's articles all over the walls and, this guy's gone to painstaking effort to replicate the taste, feel, texture of meat, but have it being veggies only. So I suppose the point that I make is I didn't break my diet while I was over there. I must have eaten too much because I come home at 120.8. At Arnold's, I only ate the salmon. I didn't eat any of the ribs. And believe me, when Arnold puts on food, he puts on a spread. I didn't eat any of it. I didn't drink. I had maybe 2 bourbons the whole night, so I was behaved. It's crazy. So I just ate the veggies, all the plant-based food. I just ate too much of it that I came back. And there must have been fat in the Veggie Grill stuff, in the chicken burgers and all of that, because I just came back and got on the scales and it was not pretty, 120.8. Like I said, right now, as of today, 118.6, 400 grams lighter than when we started this whole journey. So Suppose there's lessons to be learned there, that even if we're dietarily, eating the right stuff, if we're eating too much of it, or if it's prepared in the wrong way, obviously veggie grill, it may be all well and good, but you eat a plate of sweet potato fries with your veggie grill, vegan cheeseburger. I don't know if that vegan stuff has been deep fried. I don't know how they prepared those burgers, but we ate that a fair bit, the veggie grill, thinking that, how much damage could I possibly be doing? I'm eating only plant-based products, veggies and stuff, sushi. We went to Whole Foods a lot, right? We ate at Whole Foods over there. It's like a Woolies, but for, but relatively healthy, and I ate sushi there a lot. That was the food, when we were staying in Venice, that was pretty much the stable diet was sushi, salmon, tuna, etc., seafood and veggies. And yet, so there's the big learnings that just because you're on the veggies, just because you're eating it right, doesn't mean you're necessarily eating healthy or eating for weight loss, so to speak. As far as the exercise is concerned, went to Golds a lot, hung out with a lot of, saw some pros, saw some professional bodybuilders there, saw a bunch of the fitness models that we've seen online, saw the Ronnie Coleman lookalike down there. His name's, I can't remember his name. He looks exactly like Ronnie Coleman. Everyone mistakes him for Ronnie Coleman, but it wasn't Ronnie Coleman. But, I thought he was the most charismatic dude you'd ever want to meet. Really cool dude. I'll Google his name. I'll check it out tomorrow. I think it might be Wade. But he placed in the 2007 Mr. Olympia, so he's a real beast. He's a real animal, real big dude. Anyway, he was a cool dude, great guy. Hung out at Golds, worked out at Golds, the mecca of bodybuilding. We're lifting, was on the machines, was on the steps, doing some of the right things. Did a lot of steps on my little step tracker. But when it comes to, they say that 80% of this journey is in the kitchen. It's definitely right. I overate despite walking more than my goals most days, by going to Golds, despite doing all those things. Still come back kilos and kilos heavier than when I left. So really the time at Naomi's in Perth plus the time overseas. So really within the course of about 2 or 3 weeks, because I lost about maybe 10 days. I don't even know how many days worth of podcast recordings that was on my lost phone. With all that gone, literally back to where we started. So lessons are learned, reboot's done. We are now back in the saddle and the streak starts today. I'll talk to you tomorrow about updating you on how much fun we had on the trip. But for now, today's kick in the butt day. Apologising to you, apologising to me. There will be no congratulating myself on what I did approximately right, which is what I seem to the theme of the first 2 weeks of this program, because we can do everything approximately right. And the big lesson is you screw up for a period of time, you do well for 2 weeks, and then you screw up for 2 weeks. You're right back where you started from. All right, the streak starts now. I'll see you tomorrow.